Hey y'all, welcome to Big Joe and Meleah's world, and today's video is on my new Traxxas TRX4.
Welcome to Big Joe and Meleah's world,
where we keep it hillbilly fabulous. Yee yee!
Okay guys, Big Joe's new Traxxas TRX4. I'm really excited about this. Just kidding. Y'all know that this is Meleah's. This is Jolene. Right here is mine, and this is why I'm excited. The TRX4 chassis kit. I have to build mine. The Traxxas TRX4 chassis kit. Let's look at the box. That's what the chassis is going to look like after it's assembled. The TRX4 premium kit includes, it's got front and rear locking differentials. It does have the 2-speed transmission, the XL5 power system. It's got the TQI radio system with servos, full-colored, detailed assembly instructions. Now let's look at the bottom of the box. This kind of goes over everything that's included in the box. The torque twist eliminator, Canyon trail tires, aluminum shocks, scale detail. It's got the remote locking differentials, the high range, high-low range transmission, metal gear, digital servos. It's got the portal axles. It's capable of 3S LiPo battery system. It is waterproof, electronics, interfenders. Has a cruise control system where you can set the cruise control and it'll just creep along a trail or over the rocks, and all you have to do is steer. And it does have the rigid steel frame. Now let's take a look inside the box. This is the colored, detailed manual. You pull it out of this pack and kind of show you a little bit of it. As you can tell, it shows you step by step how to do everything to assemble this truck. So please do not be intimidated by trying this. This is where the hobby part and the fun part of RCing comes in. Here's the servo, and the transmitter, the servos and the transmitter. This is a 4-channel transmitter because it does have the locking differentials, the tires, the suspension bag, the linkages. Here's the power system, the axles, driveline bag, the rear axle bag. Like I'm telling you guys, this is nothing but a box of parts, but do not be intimidated by this. Front axles. Here's all the body detail parts. And here's my big chassis bag. And there's the frame down in there, guys. I also have some special parts that I've ordered for this. I ordered a overdrive and underdrive gearing system for the differentials, and I'll explain that later. Well, I'm getting ready to tear into this and get started. I'm going to open up the manual here. It kind of tells you some of the things you need, like you're going to need some grease and oil for your shocks and stuff. It comes with some, but it would not hurt to be prepared and have some, which you can order on eBay, Amazon, or you can go to your local hobby shops if you have one. I'm sure they have it. That's the great thing about Traxxas, is the availability of parts and accessories. But the first thing that we're going to get into is the transmission assembly. I love this detailed manual. I'm not going to show you all the wrenching part of it because we just have to fast forward through all of it, but I'm going to start in on this, and once I get assembled, I'll be back. Well, the transmission is built and the servo is on, because this is a 2-speed transmission. Pretty proud of that. Really satisfying. That's why I say that the building and hobby side of this is my favorite part. It's so satisfying. You get a sense of pride when you build something like this. And I want to show something on this detailed manual. Down here at the bottom, it's so detailed that they have a metric scale. Because most of the parts, as you can see, are in metric. Well, there's nothing metric on that. Like right here. 3 by 8 millimeter. So they included a metric scale, which is real handy. My mind slipped me. I forgot to show you the bag of stuff before I built them. But I have the differentials built. And earlier I said I had some extra parts that I was going to put in. These are hot racing overdrive and underdrive gears for the differentials. But I can't use them because this is a locking diff truck. Which means I really don't need them, because what the overdrive and underdrive gears do is makes the front end spin faster than the back end. So when you're climbing, your back end isn't pushing your truck forward to make you want to tip backwards. Makes the front end dig harder, so your front end stays on the ground better. But this truck has a locking diff, so I can just lock in the front end and it will dig harder than the rear end, so that just makes these kind of obsolete. I don't need them. So these are probably going to go in Jolene. Well, I'm getting ready to start on the rear axle assembly. And I'm telling you guys, you can't beat this manual. It is so detailed. Tells you when to put grease, what grease to put in, everything. Well, let's get started. I'll be back. Alrighty, I am about 3 hours into this build, and I've got the whole rear assembly built. And these are portal axles, and by portal axles, there is a gearbox here, and it drops the spindle so you get more ground clearance. It says that you would have to have 1 inch higher tires to get the same ground clearance by these portal axles. So far, doing pretty good. Now I got to get this differential in the front end and get it built. Getting ready to move on to the front axle assembly. And it's pretty much the same, except you got the spindles on this one and the ball joint axles because of the steering, but it'll pretty much be the same process. Okay, I'm about 5 hours into this build, and this is my progress so far. I've got the transmission completely built. I've got the rear axle assembly built. I've got the front axle assembly built. I'd say we're doing pretty good so far. This is really fun. Like I said, as long as you take your time, pay attention to detail, this manual is amazing. It is step by step. Shows you everything you need to do. Now that I got the hardest part out of the way, all the drive system, the front and rear axle assembly, and the transmission, I'm going to start on the chassis. The thing I like about this is, if you can hear that, this is an actual steel rail frame. And this is the bag with all the plastics for the chassis. And like I've said time and time again, very easy, detailed steps to follow. So this shouldn't be too bad. Well, it's the next morning. About 6 hours into this build yesterday. I got the front axle assembly, the rear axle assembly, the transmission, the chassis built. Today, I'm going to start applying the electronics, is where I'm starting at today. I've already installed the transmission. But, tools, check. Coffee, check. Let's get started. Getting ready to start the suspension part. The dampers bag. This is the parts bag for all the shocks. Here's all the instruction. It shows you how to fill it, how to assemble it. But the great thing I want to point out about this kit is this right here. It comes with all the oils and all the greases that you need to assemble this, and all the tools. It comes with everything that you need to assemble this truck. So you can pretty much just buy it, build it, run it. Okay, got the shocks assembled. That didn't take long. Pretty easy job. Getting ready to break into the suspension linkage bag and hook up all the linkage, all the steering linkage and the 4-link suspension. Then we'll be able to install our axle assemblies into the truck, hook up the locking diff links, cables, and after we get all that installed, we should be ready for wheels and tires and bumpers and then the body mounts, and then we should be assembled. It's taken about 9.5 to 10 hours at this point. Look here, y'all. She's starting to look like a truck. Got the suspension on, the 4-link. Just about done with this. All I got now is to get the drive shafts made up, put on, and I'll be able to flip her over and put some tires on her and bumpers, and we will have this truck complete. Breaking into the driveline bag. Here's all my parts. I've done laid them out here on the, I use the center of the book to kind of hold all the rolly parts that roll around. Got my screws opened right here. Here's another bag of parts up here. But here's how we assemble the drive shafts. These are plastic drive shafts, which I say I will probably replace those with metal. I can say, honestly, this is one of the most well-built trucks in the hobby. If there is a weak link, it would probably be these plastic drive shafts, or the axle housings, or the spindles and hubs. But you can replace every bit of that with metal, which I would say eventually will happen. But I'm going to throw these drive shafts together and install them, and then we will just button up the truck and show you the end result. Well, y'all, my build is complete of the Traxxas TRX4 chassis kit. This is the Defender, is what it's classified. You have the Defender and you have the Sport. This is the Defender with the 2-speed transmission and the front and rear locking differentials. Here is the end results. All put together, and I have ran her, so I had to do a little test run. We've been doing some crawling. This is stock. I have no upgrades to any of the servos, ESCs, or anything like that. The only upgrade I have done, wheels and tires. I do have the stock wheels and tires, and I have glued them. The Traxxas Canyons. These are Proline Denali's 1.9 black spoked beadlock. These are beadlock wheels. These are Proline High Racks, and these are amazing tires. Real good and soft, get a lot of grip. It's the only upgrade so far, other than my body. That's why it's taken me so long to do this video, because this comes without a body. So I had to get a body, and of course, I had to do a custom body. The body is not finished, is not complete. I still have to clear coat it, put a little bells and whistles on it, grill and stuff. But this is my body. The 72 K5 Blazer with custom weathered paint job. I think it turned out really nice with all my rust spots, paint missing.
So tell them how you did that.
I painted primer on the inside. So in case the paint flakes or scratches, it'll still look rusty. Then I painted the outside with primer, real good coat. Then I painted the white next. Then I taped off everything I wanted to be white, like the racing stripes down the side and the top, and painted the blue. After I had all of it finished, I took, I believe it was 800 grit. You could use 600 probably, but I used 800 grit paper and wet sanded. And you'll wet sand and wet sand and wet sand, and you'll see stuff start peeking through. That's how you get this effect. It's pretty easy. Just, it's time consuming. You want to take your time doing this. Bring out the details. And I went and bought a fine tip Sharpie, ball point Sharpie, to go over all the lines in the doors and fenders and the hood and everything. Kind of makes it stand out. Kind of makes it look real. Kind of breaks it up a little bit. So this is what she looks like put all together. I'm very, very, very proud of this truck because this truck is built, not bought.
All right, guys, so that's it for Big Joe's Traxxas TRX4 build. Now, Joe, I know that you name all your trucks.
This one's special.
What'd you name this one?
His name is Bo Cephas.
Bo Cephas.
Bo for short.
Bo for short. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed Big Joe's Traxxas TRX build. And as always, we want to thank you for allowing a little bit of Big Joe and Meleah's World
Into your world.
We'll see you soon, guys.
Bye.